It's casual, not formal. It's hosted by Rory Pendlin. Oh, and Renee in tow. It's time to start the show. 1, 2, 3, go!
Hello, welcome to another edition of It's Casual. I'm Rory Penlin, your host. My director slash producer slash co-host, the woman who does everything. It was Renee Jaworski. Are you here, Renee?
I'm right here. I'm excited.
There
I'm
she
ready
is.
to go. I'm raring and ready to go.
There's the awesome cap.
That's the Tom Cheshire cat. It
The
says, I
Tom
choose
Cheshire
awesome.
cap. Not the cat,
Yeah,
but
I
the cap.
choose awesome. You know, that Tom Cheshire has this whole campaign of I choose awesome, and I do choose awesome. So I wear that for
I never thought
representation.
of that, but it's a Cheshire cap, kind of like a Cheshire cat, Anyway,
I didn't know that Donald Trump was such a Tom Cheshire fan, but it may okay.
do a little Tom Cheshire, do a little Donald Trump before the Thursday debate.
There
and
you
I don't
go.
like to get very political, but there it is. It just kind of came out.
That's about as political as you get. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We have a very fun guest, another comedian that I've worked with in Florida here. He's a Florida-based comic. He's got a lot of irons and a lot of different fires, doing a lot of different things. And I've been excited about having him on the show. I'm so glad we finally got him on today. This is show number 112. He asked me, how long you been doing this? Show number 112. And his name is Frankie Paul Morrell. Before I bring him up, we're going to play a clip of his comedy. We're just going to run a minute of his comedy here.
Empty nester now. It's different raising kids now. We need country grandmas more than we ever did before. We do. Parents have kind of lost their way. Need some assistance from somebody that's older and seasoned. Because parents that are younger just aren't all that worried about discipline and raising their little boys to be men and little girls to be ladies. Parents these days just want to be their friend and their buddy and let them get away with murder. That's not a good idea. If you give your kid a trophy for coming in last place, you deserve the shitty future that's coming your way.
And he goes on to say that grandmas will beat kids' ass with all the love and
That's right. Lots of love as that's happening. Lots of love. Southern, yeah.
So let's go, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him on up. Frankie Paul Morrell.
Good evening.
Now,
how are you, my friend?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Nice to see you.
It's great to see you again, my friend. Haven't seen you in a long time. One of the things that struck me was your name, Morrell. There is an Andre Morrell, an actor who used to be in all the old Hammer films, the monster movies.
Yes, the Hammer
Andre
monster
Morrell.
flick.
He was Watson to Peter Cushing Sherlock Holmes, actually.
I used to see his name at the credits going, oh my God, I wonder if I know that guy. I was just a kid. I was like, oh, that's so cool seeing
You're
someone.
probably a distant cousin.
That would be awesome. That would be. Knowing my dad, he could be a full-blown half-brother knowing my father's history.
Well, there it is. So you're a Florida-based comic, but you play all over. What are some of the more exotic locations you played in?
Exotic as far, the only place internationally I've really gone to is the Caribbean. I really love Grand Cayman. I got to do shows there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost due to get dual residency in the Bahamas. I've been there so many times. It's just outlandish. Yeah, I like that. And inside the States, there's just a lot of beautiful cities. I love Atlanta. I love Vegas for 3 days. After 4 days, I'm torching buildings. I don't like it after
that. 4 days, you're broke. You lost all the money that you made that weekend.
Every city I've been in has something gorgeous about it. That's what's beautiful. And I'm not a hotel room guy, so I don't stay in the hotel room all day in between shows. I get out and see where I'm at. And so
Yeah,
I
I'm the
enjoy
same way.
city.
If I'm in someplace interesting, I'm going to find out where to go to find out what's interesting about that place. You know, if
Exactly.
you're in Savannah, Georgia, yeah, go out and check out Savannah, Georgia, and
Right.
find out
Go
what's
find
cool
some
about
shrimp
it,
and
right?
grits.
Shrimp and grits. Do you eat your grits al dente?
It's like a little crunch to them, but I don't like them to, be raw like I'm eating sand.
So, which circuits basically have you played around the country?
I did all the every club in the Southeast I've done. And then, I worked a lot for the Comedy Zone. So anytime they got a new room that was branched out, I'd always get sent. They had a room in Western New York, short-lived, but I got in there while it was still alive, and,
Okay.
right. It's probably one of the only ways I'm going to see Niagara Falls for free. So, I did that.
Niagara
And,
Falls.
I never really did a lot of California or New York City because it felt like it was a place to go showcase if you wanted to be seen and stuff, but there's not a lot of, per se, paid gigs.
Yeah.
So I didn't really work those big cities. I hardly ever went, west of Vegas, really. But
You can't make money in the big cities, huh?
you can't. Yeah, you can get known in the big city, not unless if you got to act too. You can't just be funny. Not in the big city.
Yeah, I've talked to many comedians. I actually jumped out of the country for 15 years. I lived in China. My wife is Chinese, so I jumped out for 15 years and I came back. And it's
I
like,
had
wait
no
a minute.
idea you did that.
Yeah, I said,
Wow.
that's why you hadn't heard from me in a while.
I was wondering.
I
bet
was
that
in
was
China, on the other
amazing.
side of Hong Kong.
Wow, how great.
So yeah, I come back and I find out that they're getting open micers to pay to go on, like in California. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said.
It's kind of a different motivation with open micers now, because like back when we did it, you would just go to a club because they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And now, like where I live here in Melbourne, it's kind of a small town, but now there's a fairly big comedy presence locally with some new young kids. There's probably 20 of them or something.
Yeah.
But that's just in Melbourne, and they just go out and find open mics. They make their own. They'll go to bar to bar to bar to bar to bar and say, hey, I'll bring in 50 people that you're not going to have.
Yeah.
And we'll do some comedy. And the bars are like, okay, especially now you're starving for people to come out. And they make their own open mics. It's really cool.
Hello, Diamond. Yeah, we got some people actually writing in now. We get some people watching live.
Chappelle is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Great
He
comedian.
is amazing.
Especially when he does Rick James, bitch. That's my favorite.
He did something crazy recently that he got a little heat for it.
Uh-oh.
There's a big, huge disclaimer about not bringing phones into his live show. And he went ahead and was into his show, and somebody was taping. And it was like 10 minutes in.
Oh, man.
And he just said, I told you guys no phones. And he walked off. That was the end of the show.
Oh, man.
All those people got screwed over because of that one dude. How he got out alive, because he didn't even come back out. He didn't come back out and say a word. It's gone.
Man.
It's gone. That's when you got the money. That's when you got the money.
Didn't Mellencamp walk off stage a couple weeks ago because they were dissing him for not doing his old songs?
Really?
Yeah, because he wouldn't do like Jack and Diane or something, and they were like, "Oh, do Jack and Diane."
Sucks. We want the hits. We're dying.
Like, you know what?
Play the hits.
I'm out of here. And he just walked off stage.
I've heard more than one celebrity say that. When you're talking to them, they say, I'm not complaining about my success. I'm blessed. I love it. I'm glad I have it. But the only thing I miss is being able to go on stage and do a new joke, because I can't do it. Because I got to go out and do the hits.
Jimmy Walker. Oh, my God. He couldn't get rid of JJ.
Jimmy Walker.
I don't want to say Dynamite.
Right. Now he's saying it like crazy because, money talks.
before he was trying to charge for it when he first came out.
Ah,
He was like
I
500.
believe
That's
that.
how bad he didn't want to say it. He's like,
I
I'm not
believe
saying it. $500 every time I say it. And so people were like, well, you gotta say it. He's like, nope. And then I guess he kind of eased up along the way, and now it's fine. But
Yeah, because you probably got a lot of flack from people, from audience.
oh yeah,
So
we're
probably
not booking
important.
you if you don't say it. Are you kidding me? That's so funny.
I wanted to mention. You said you've forgotten it already, and I don't blame you. I mean,
This is going to be great. This is like hearing it again.
I remember my fondest memory of you working with you was the first paid gig I had on the road. Mark Craycraft from Crackers down in Tampa booked me to open at Crackers up in St. Louis, and I've told this story many times on this show with different comics. But I haven't been able to tell the story with somebody who was actually there, and that was you.
Was this St. Louis or was it Indy?
I'm sorry, Indianapolis.
It's Indy.
You're right,
remember it
Indianapolis.
now.
I got that wrong. I just know it was 14-hour drive
the
from
club.
Tampa.
Yeah, Sandy DePerno was managing the club.
Yeah. So I get there and I do my thing. I do the voices, and Schliebner comes in after the show and says, Rory, I don't know why Mark sent you up here. I don't like novelty acts. He said, and he fired me.
What a jerk.
I made $50. He fired me. And again, I was only going to make I think $150 for the weekend.
Right.
So
but still,
because it was $50 a show, it was like 3 shows, maybe 250. It was like 5 shows.
Yeah.
But so yeah. So he gives me my money. He goes, oh, he looks, Rory, you're a nice guy. I like you, but yeah, I just don't like novelty acts. So he goes, I'm going to give you some names of people that might book you. So he did give me Chris DePetta's name and Sobel's name and different people that book the comedy clubs, or at that time booked the comedy clubs there. They still book those clubs, really, actually.
Right.
So
Craycraft is actually doing entertainment at some 55. He's like a entertainment director at some 55 plus places over near Sarasota. That's what he does for a living now.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
So I walk out. It's snowing, which I'd never experienced before because I'm a Florida boy.
Right.
And I'm looking outside. I'm walking outside. I'm depressed. What am I going to do? I drove all the way up here 14 hours for $50 or $100. And I look down and there's something flapping on the bush at the very corner of the walkway there. There's bushes all around there. And I reach down and it's $100 bill.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's karma.
So yeah. So that happened, and I got the work. I got a couple of weeks work out of the names that he gave me and numbers that he gave me. So it worked out.
So you got a bonus for working one day.
Yeah, it was just kind of a crappy way for it to all go down.
Yeah, you're not even thinking about the 100. You're just thinking about novelty act. What the hell was that about?
Yeah,
that's what
just
sticks
didn't
to
like
you.
the voices,
Right.
So you're not going to book Carrot Top, is what you're telling me? Okay,
that's the first thing that just popped into my head. I was like, yeah, so if he comes strolling in with a crate, you're going to go, nah.
Moment chance ain't coming to this club. All right, got it. But you were actually very supportive. You're like, I can't believe he did that to you, man. You were very supportive, and I appreciated that. I really did, because I was really feeling down after that.
It's a complete injustice.
So we had Andy Huggins on a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And I was in the Comedy Corner, working in the Comedy Corner when he came through with Stephen J. Moore. And it was the only time when I worked there that we fired a comic. Stephen J. Moore got shit canned. By Jeff Dix, the manager at the club. And Huggins was furious because, they're buddies from Texas. They wrote out together.
Right.
So Jeff just didn't get his comedy. Just didn't like his comedy. He came to me and said, you think he's funny? And I said, yeah, he's all right. The crowds are connecting with him. He's doing good. And he goes, I don't think he's funny.
I hate it when somebody kills and they come off stage and the owner's like, he's not for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought you were it. Yeah. You can make money off of this guy. So
who were some of the influences that you had?
When I was a kid, I had the main guys. I had George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and Steve Martin albums. Those were my first 3, and I listened to them after school on a tiny little 1978 orange record player that I'd taken out of my sister's room.
When the lid pops open.
I don't even know if it had a lid. It might have had a lid, but now it just had the hinges where the lid was.
There you go. Broke off the lid.
But I was listening to that I didn't start listening to music till like later in high school after school. And then I was listening to comedy albums, never thinking I'd be one, never planning to be one. I wanted to be a comic book artist. That's what I wanted to do.
We're going to show some of your art in a little while.
I wanted to be an artist because I loved comic books growing up, and I wanted to do that or be some kind of artist, but it was super hard to get in. That's a little portrait of my daughter when she was younger.
Here we go. So we're going to go ahead and show your art now, since you've mentioned it.
That's a while back. She's 27 now.
Wow, they grow up too fast, man. They really do.
Oh, I know. I got 3 granddaughters now. That's my son when he had surfer hair.
Are you a surfer?
I surfed a lot, but I never got good at it. From start to stop, all I did was fall, but I was out there every day.
We have another host on Cosmos Creative TV that does a surfing show.
Oh, cool.
So she might be reaching out to you.
That's a cool car. Right now I ride 10-foot longboards because I can basically walk on them and not fall off. It's almost like a John boat. And then I boogie board a lot, but that's it. When I'm at the beach, I'm in the water. If I have to get out of the water, we're going home. I don't sit in the sand and look around. I'm in the water.
Yeah. Don't burn.
Yeah, I'm good at that. I wear shirts and stuff out there now.
Cool down.
It's only 90.
So this is a nice like Conan kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a little influences when I was in high school back in around 82 or 83 at the community college nearby. Yeah, I was into all of that Conan kind of stuff. Sci-fi.
See, when I first looked at these, I didn't look at them carefully. These are actually original designs. I mean, I thought like this was kind of like a Thor thing, but it's not. It's like a
I just come up with it.
Like a Norse.
Just a Viking thing.
Viking kind of Arthur guy.
There was an artist back then named John Buscema. He was a big influence for all the stuff that I drew back then.
I was a huge Basil fan back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say Palladorus is his last name, but he just signed everything Basil.
Basil. Oh,
Basil.
Yeah, he didn't pay attention to anatomy. Basil Gogos? You ever see him? He drew all the cover. There's a guy named Basil Gogos, and he would draw all the covers to the famous Monsters of Filmland magazine covers.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm a big fan of Famous Monsters of Filmland. Frazetta is another one that I dug back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Frazetta did a lot of the rock and roll albums.
I was a weird kid back then to where I'd open up a Famous Monsters magazine, cut out my favorite photos, and put them in another notebook with glue, which made no sense, but that's what I did. Like a scrapbook.
I got it. I used to because we didn't have VCRs back when I was a teen. As a matter of fact, my high school graduation present was one of those big top loader VCRs. That's what I wanted. But I used to tape record with like a little cassette player. I used to tape record episodes of Batman and stuff that I dug.
Oh, that's cool.
And listen to them. Rock and roll will never die.
I had one of those little 8mm film projectors that you could get like at the department store.
Yeah.
And, would buy the little 8mm classic monster movies. They'd only give you like 4 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah, maybe
3 minutes. Yes, I had the same thing.
Play those things. Well, I love that.
But I had a camera. I used to make my own home movies too. I would kill to get those home movies back because I did some funny stuff when I was a kid when we on film.
Oh,
we did Yawn of the Dead was one of them where I was being followed by different zombies and was getting killed.
Do you remember a guy named Phil Tag LaFerry?
Yeah, Tag.
Phil Tag.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to get him on the show.
When cameras first came out, he and I were doing some shows together, and of course, cameras back then were like huge cameras.
Yeah.
And we got in trouble because we went into Publix and we would interview people about what they had in their cart and why they had it. and we got kicked out of there. And then he and I would make these stupid little short videos in the hotel room and in the hotel parking lot. And we were just, I'm sure they're corny now, but we would laugh so hard at them.
Again,
And
those
I
are
would, I
precious
would love to
moments.
know if he still had those. That was so funny.
Oh man, again, if he's got those, you should definitely get copies of those on,
It's so
get
good.
some digital copies for yourself.
Yes, they're
Those
so
memories,
funny.
again, my mom threw most of that shit out. We made all kinds of fun movies. My mom threw most of that crap out, all my reels.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It's just hard. And
My
and
mom
I
threw
probably
away
had I probably had $1 million worth of GI Joe stuff that I could have sold on eBay. She threw all of that stuff out.
The originals or
Yeah.
the 80s ones?
The 12-inch,
Oh, yeah.
actually the 70s, the
With
12-inch
the Brillo
adventure
hair.
team
Those
stuff.
are my guys, the Kung Fu Grip guys.
Oh hell yeah, the lifelike hair Kung Fu grip.
Those guys were the best.
I had
Ours
the
weighed,
mobile system, the helicopter, the white tiger hunt, all of that shit.
me and my buddies weighed about a pound more than everybody else's because there were so many BBs stuck in it when we would shoot them from a distance.
Target practice.
We did. He had this old palm tree stump out in his front yard.
And the
we
lifelike
put 'em-
hair would come out and they looked like they had scabies.
Oh, yeah. One would skin by the head and it'd.
Now here you're getting into a little into some painting.
Yeah, I started to see if I could even do it. I didn't think I could even do it, so I kind of messed around a little bit and dabbled. I follow a lot of people that paint. I was always a huge Bob Ross fan. I don't buy anything Bob Ross anymore because of the tragic story how his family doesn't get any money from him.
Oh jeez.
But
happy little trees.
Yeah, he got really screwed over.
No
by
royalties. No
managers.
royalties.
When that dude came on, I'd throw the remote in a fish tank.
Oh man.
He would calm me
I
down.
I understand. My father used to try to paint. While he watched those shows, he would try to paint the same thing.
Oh, while he's watching it,
Yeah,
takes more than that probably.
They would just come out terrible.
Yeah. Well,
But again, I would
30 minutes.
I would kill for a couple of those canvases today. They got thrown out.
Oh yeah, right. That would be so good to have. A buddy of mine's mom paints, and she's just now recently stopped painting at 95 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many paintings has she got stored away now?
There's a ton. The walls are covered.
I bet.
And she did different things. And then there's a room where they're just, they're like albums. They're just on the floor. You can just thumb through them and just go through them all. It's amazing.
Did she ever give
They're
you
really
any?
pretty. She hadn't yet, but we're all in the will. She hadn't given up any yet.
I love to go see art. I photograph museums now. I went to the Huntington Museum, and a lot of it was not great art,
Oh,
but
wow,
it was.
really?
I mean, it was like 200 years old though, so you're like, okay, I understand why it's here, because it's history, But
Right, we're trying to keep it in a humidity-free environment. I get that, but
but really, at the Huntington, it's basically Blue Boy is the attraction, and the rest of it, and Pinky across the hall. But the rest of it is.
Right. Not so
Go to the
much.
Norton Simon. Much better. Wow. So yeah, you should check through her stuff and see. Ask her how much she wants for it. That's the kicker.
She's been to a few, and like she's gone through some local art festivals and tried to sell a few, and she's Swedish and hasn't lost that accent. And I don't like doing it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore. I sit here all day and I sell one thing. I don't want to do it anymore.
Again, if you can buy them for $25-$50,
Oh, I'd be buying them all if I could do that. She knows my favorites already because I'll just go visit them and I'll just be in one place at the house for an uncomfortable amount of time. Do you like this one? I do.
This is the one you want. You're going to leave if I give you this one, yeah?
We're having dessert. Are you going to leave that painting alone or what?
Keep your fingers off.
Yeah.
What were some of your best gigs?
I did some fun gigs. I did some big gigs where I learned a lot about the size of the crowds. I had done, as little as one person. I had to do a show for one person.
You
Yep.
did a show with one person,
One person.
and you
was,
gave it your all, I bet.
Yeah, actually, the other comic and I were sitting there, we're looking at each other, and I was a feature that shouldn't have been headlining, and he was an MC that shouldn't have been featuring, and we're in there, and there's one guy in there. He was a trucker that got to town early and couldn't unload his trailer till the next day, so he just got a room and was just drinking beers in the
Be
lounge.
funny.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't even know there was a show. So we went ahead and decided we weren't even going to do the stage. So we just went over and sat at his table and ordered 3 more pictures and told him road stories for 90 minutes without doing a single bit. And he had a ball. He thought it was the best thing ever. And the guy goes, that's all I wanted.
I
Here's
got
the
my own
money.
private show.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a lifetime story. Just one time I was near Tampa, Florida, right? Sure as hell, I'm in a lounge just trying to get a little buzz on by myself, but there's a live comedy show, but I'm the only one there.
Don't you hate when you're drinking and a comedy show breaks out?
Right? You're trying to be sad and people are trying to cheer you up.
I'm trying to be all depressed.
I got to do
I'm depressed.
I did 2 shows in 2,500 seat theaters. Only 2. I opened for the
Nice.
Beach Boys, and
Nice.
I got to do a show with Dare. Nah. Oh, no, I'm losing my mind. Dale. The dude that does the turtle from SNL. Dana Carvey.
Oh, Dana Carvey.
So Dana Carvey and I did a show
He
together.
never did the
in
turtle
West Palm.
version, but he did it in the movie.
Yeah, he did that.
Master of Disguise.
Yeah, he did it in that. That's the first time I'd seen it.
Enough for you. That was a great bit.
And I noticed, but when you like in a comedy club, it's like boom, laugh, hit him again, hit him again, hit him again. But you can't do that in a theater because you'll get ahead of them. People in the back, but you'll jump to the next sentence before your previous sentence reach the back row. So it screws it up. So you gotta
Then
slow
they'll
down.
stop laughing.
Yeah, you gotta slow down. And when you do a punchline, you can actually feel the laugh start in the front, work its way back, and then it'll roll back too. A lot of times they kind of roll back to the front like a wave. And but that was a really surreal.
Today.
Yeah.
I'd like to do an impression.
Yeah, you're kind of sitting there. People in the front are twiddling their thumbs like we're waiting on the back. Just be patient. You paid extra for this moment to breathe. But those are fun shows.
So I wouldn't know.
And then
But I aspire.
I used to open them for Tommy Chong a lot. And,
wow, man!
So that was like free weed for a year. Because we would go.
Now he's hawking gummies.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now that they're legit, and he was always trying to get back with Cheech, but Cheech was doing so well in Hollywood. They were like, I don't want to get back together, and he had to wait till that kind of dried up, and now they're back together.
Yeah,
but
I saw.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that you'd work with Tommy Chong and you'd end up smoking like 10 joints a day, but that's not right. No, it's like 1 a day. 1 a day.
This is my 1 joint a day.
Yeah,
man.
right now, man. We're on the road. Frankie, let's go to a jazz club and watch some music and have a bottle of wine, and then we'll smoke this later. That's kind of how that went. But I would end up with all the weed because he flew. I drove. Every show, people would put stuff in his pocket. Oh, you got to try mine. Oh, you got to try mine. He'd take it out, hand it to me, take it out, hand it to me, take it out, hand it to me. And, I'm like this by the end of the week.
Tell me how it is later, man.
Yeah. I can't fly with this, man. You should take it home with you, man. It's like a chip.
I got gummies now.
Yeah, I bet they're good.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was always a super cool guy. But his wife started opening the shows for him, so that all ended. Yeah. But anyway,
So,
what can you say?
It was like Yoko Ono opening for John Lennon, huh?
Worse.
Worse.
I
know she's not funny, but she's my wife, man.
She may have got funny. Who knows? I didn't get to see her. Yeah, it'd be
Takes
wrong of me
time.
to say that she didn't do a good job because she might have.
Takes time.
She may
gotta
have.
work them. Gotta learn how to work the crowd.
Ugh, but hey, whatever. Keep the wife happy.
Any horror stories?
Sure.
How long we got?
Let's see. How many one-nighters did I sleep with a gun? Let's see.
Wow.
My favorite part with the gigs where you have the hotels that say hourly rates. I had some of those. A couple of those in Georgia. There's one in Georgia.
Sharing walls with motel
It was
hell.
kind of funny because the club had been doing shows so long and they used that crappy hotel because I guess the guy that owned the bar owned the hotel. And it was all kind of nice, pretty hotels around you. But you're staying at the place, the Adams house. You're staying there.
You're staying at the no-tell motel.
Yeah. And so I go there one time, and whoever was working the desk is getting me a room with a key on a big thingy like they used to have. And the guy comes running in. He goes, no. He's a comedian. We have 2 rooms we fixed up just for them. So they actually made rooms that they wouldn't let hookers use.
Didn't have
That were
glass
just
ceilings.
that are just for us.
Didn't have leather swings in them.
Right. And, the carpet didn't crack.
Is that a whip on the wall?
It's horrifying.
There's not a
I've
Bible in the drawer, that's for sure.
had
Something
2
that vibrates.
I've had 2 seizures in the crowd. That weren't really bad horror stories because they all worked out.
Yeah,
And one of them was during the features act.
you're
And
pretty
but they-
easy. I remember you being a pretty easygoing guy. I mean, you could roll
You
with
got to
it.
roll with all of that. I mean, the funny part, the first one, I was in Augusta, Georgia, and you can't see the back of the crowd because the lights up front. And I heard rustling and tables falling and all kind of shit in the back. So I start heckling it, and then it works its way through the crowd informationally up to this table with 2 old ladies. I don't know if they were Jewish, but they were cool about it. And one of them goes, she's having a seizure. Just like that. In Georgia. No Georgia accent whatsoever. All New York Jewish lady.
She's
She's
having
having a seizure. And I froze. I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm going over it in my head,
She
processing.
sounded like Joan Rivers in Augusta,
Yes,
Georgia.
yes,
She's
exactly.
having a seizure.
And the lady next to her goes, well, go
And her
on.
outfit, oh my God.
The lady in front of her is pissed off that I stopped. Well, go on. It's not me. So funny.
Is she okay? All
She
right.
ended up okay. Both seizures ended up okay. I had a lady laugh so hard at one show that right after she high-fived me, she went into an anaphylactic shock. She was diabetic and just boom, pop down. Fuck. What do we do?
Man.
What do we do? And
What'd you do to her?
she was just having a good. That was like a family reunion there, and we were just rolling, just a great family. And
Don't touch the comic.
and then one of the sure as hell, one of the ladies behind the concession stand, a teenage girl, had a pen because she was the same way.
Yeah,
She went out. Yeah, she had an EpiPen. Goes out there and pops that lady, and she gets up like nothing ever happened. It was the weirdest thing ever.
That's it.
I'm like, oh my.
Right there under the sternum.
This lady's gonna, yeah, it was like Pulp Fiction. You do it, I'll do it. Kid takes it, I'll do it. And sure, she snapped right out of it. And I had to come back from that.
Man.
That was fun. It's always, if it's a happy ending, you can come back from it. You can dig your way out of it. She's fine, everyone. So anyway.
So these 2 guys.
So yeah, so I got the kids with me, right? So yeah.
Oh, he's drinking wine now. I forgot my drink.
I have to drink
I
wine
very rarely
tonight.
forget my drink for a show.
Normally I
usually
don't
a
have
cup.
wine, and I love this little cup because it makes me pretend I'm a vampire.
I love my cup, and yeah.
But normally I drink a whiskey, but I had people over. Oh, you're gonna love this. I had people. So, anyway, to shorten the wine thing out, some people came over, wanted wine. I opened it up. They had 1 glass. Now I got to drink it. so it don't go bad. Anyway, the folks that come to my house, remember I told you how my dad was kind of, I may have brothers I don't know about. So I recently met my half brother, whose name is Frank. Do you remember that Newhart that show where the second show where they owned the hotel and there was Daryl and my other brother
Daryl and
Daryl?
my other brother Daryl. Yeah,
I'm a Frank with another brother named Frank
another brother named Frank.
in real life.
But you're Frankie. Frankie
I'm
Paul.
Frankie and Francis. He can't
Frankie
go
Paul.
by either. Yeah, but he was my dad's first Frank.
People call you Francis.
Just the people closest to me call me Francis. If
Francis.
if I hear Francis, I'm either in trouble or someone I've known for the whole 60 years is popping over. No, not too many people.
You were saying
call me
high
Francis.
school in the early '80s, and you were mentioned a lot of stuff that I grew up with. Yeah, we're both 60, aren't we?
Yeah, I graduated in '82, the same
Same
year
here.
as Fast Time as at Ridgemont High, and my senior year was the same as that. That and Porky's.
Yes, Porky's came out then. How did they ever make 3 of those? I
don't know. You know, that's based on St. Cloud.
Is it?
Yes.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, they filmed it there too.
St. Cloud, Florida. Wow.
Yeah, they got a show. They got a comedy club there named Porky's. It's a weekend room and a place that does
I've
comedy
heard
and
Porky's the
barbecue.
comedy club, but I didn't realize it was connected in any way.
It's not. They just named it that as kind of like to pay homage to the movie.
And they didn't get sued.
Nah, they don't. I don't know how they did. Well, Porky, if you're gonna get sued, it's probably gonna be Looney Tunes.
There you go.
I'm gonna sue you. Ain't like Disney where an hour later you got guns at the door. I did a flyer for my old man. He had a nightclub. That's kind of where Frankie Paul came from. Because when I first started comedy, my dad had a big nightclub in Cocoa Beach, and I would go on stage in front of some bands that he would hire. He would either hire local bands or he'd have the oldies guys like the Platters and the Drifters. And yeah, he'd have those kind of folks. So I would go up and try to do comedy in front of those folks, in front of those people. And I didn't want anybody to know I was the owner's dad. So I went by my middle name, Frankie Paul. I didn't want to put Morrell on it because everybody would know I was his kid and they would laugh regardless.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know what sucked and what was good. So I went up anonymous and that ended up sticking.
Is that how comedy started for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
actually, it was a little bit before that. It was a little bit before that. I wasn't doing any kind of comedy, and I was working at a factory, Harris Corporation, which made computer chips back in the day. And I worked in a clean room environment, had a bunny suit on, the whole works. And my boss said, "Hey, look." Yeah, he knew it. Everybody knew it was funny, but that's where it stopped. And my boss said, "Hey, look, we're having an employee party to try to boost morale. We're going to do it in 2 weeks. All the shifts are going to be there. And we're going to have a talent show. And I already signed you up to do 5 minutes of comedy, and you can't say no." And I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I wrote.
Is mid-'80s?
This is 87.
Yeah.
And so I went ahead and I wrote material. It was all dirty, of course. But it was based on all the machines. I made dirty jokes.
Dice Play had already come out.
Yeah, I made dirty jokes over all the machines that we worked on. Right. I took every machine that we... Yes. Every machine we ever worked on, that I'd take the name of that machine or took what it did and made it dirty. And so when they had
Even Buddy Hackett got dirty at that time.
Right. And so naturally I got disqualified because all the judges were like 65 and they hated me, but I killed. But I didn't win nothing. Everybody was in the back with me going, "You're going to win this. I can't believe." And then when I didn't win, then it was like uproar and craziness. But that's when I got bit. And that's when I started looking for any place I could do it.
In '88, I did I signed up for the Edge Gel National Lampoon College Comedy Fest.
Dang, that's
and
heavy duty.
I got picked. Actually, I was
Wow.
the second choice. The first guy that they picked didn't want to do it. He bailed out. So I ended up going to Vegas with 80 other comics. Ronnie Bullard was there. There's a whole bunch of guys that were there.
I still talk to Ronnie every now and then.
Oh yeah, and great Georgia comic. Oh geez,
So
did you hear
good.
that thunder?
That's what that was?
Florida,
Yikes.
yeah, Florida weather. And the judges were Leslie Nielsen, who was very cool, Tim
Wow.
Matheson from Animal House,
Wow.
and Larry Bud Melman.
Ah, very cool. I remember Larry Bud.
And I did the Bugs Bunny bit right out of the gate. Bugs Bunny's not from New York because he would say, "Nah, Elma, bite my ass." and he rooked me. He said, we're not looking for a new Eddie Murphy. And
Eddie
so I didn't
Murphy.
make the finals. I didn't
didn't even think that'd be the last person I'd think of would be Eddie Murphy there, but okay.
Yeah,
Are you? What are you looking for?
So it was supposed to be Gilbert. Gilbert Gottfried was supposed to be part of that, but for some reason he didn't make it, and they got Larry Bud Melman.
I got to work with him for a week. That was interesting.
How fun was that?
It was cool. I mean, he's a sweet guy, he's sweet as hell. But it was towards the end when he was kind of like, I'm just gonna sit here on this couch and do my show when it's time, and then I'm getting out of here. He was already ailing a lot.
I hate
same old Gilbert. Same Gilbert. He didn't clean up a niche.
I'm gonna do my dirtiest show. I'm not even gonna stand up. Fuck them.
That's so funny.
I think the funniest thing I ever saw him do, and I mean, he was off the chain, even more off the chain than usual for Gilbert, was when he did the thing with George Takei. What do they call those? The roasts. The
celebrity roast.
Celebrity roast
of George Takei.
George Takei.
Oh God, I didn't even see that.
I think Takei was just one of the other roasters. It might have been the Bill Shatner one. Because Takei was one of the other roasters, but I mean, Gilbert went off on George Takei for like 10 minutes. It was hysterical.
Oh my God.
Let me do a joke for you.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. George took it all with a grain.
It was so offensive, and Takei was just laughing his ass off. He was so cool about it.
He don't give a shit. He could care less.
That's wonderful.
He can care less. That's what I love about him. I don't care.
Tell us about your relationship with rock and roll.
I started, I don't remember what, first time, a buddy of mine and I had gotten reunited after a few years of like between elementary, junior high school, and we started listening to rock. And then that took over everything. And in the 70s, I was a nerdy kind of, it was all comic books. It was all comedy albums. It was all George Carlin, all this, all that.
See, now, I don't think that's nerdy, Okay,
that part's not nerdy. The
bit,
comic book part's kind of nerdy. And, I like cartoons and everything still, I almost got beat up going out for basketball in junior high because I had a Hulk shirt on. Yeah, there was no.
You're bad, huh, Mr. Gamma?
There was no Big Bang Theory to bail my ass out in the 70s.
And that was back when Bill Bixby was David Banner.
Now the nice ass lady sees the money in the nerd. She's not going beat him up. She's going, I'm gonna fuck that guy and take all his money. But so I started going to concerts. My first concert was Blue Oyster Cult and Foghat in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in a tiny little auditorium.
Port St. Lucie.
And from there on in, from 82 when I graduated to about 91 when grunge started taking over, I was nothing but beer and women and concerts every single day. That's all I wanted to do.
Beer, women, comedy, in that order.
That's it. For 10 years, that's all I do is go to shows, get drunk, and try to hook up. That's all I would do. It's the biggest waste of real estate money ever.
And I have joked, that I've only gotten one girl buy me a drink at a comedy show. But yeah, a guy that looked like you back in the day, with the nice shoulder length hair and everything.
Right.
Yeah, you look all suave and everything up and you wore nice clothes when you went up on stage.
Right.
I could definitely see you hooking up on a regular basis in different towns and different places.
Oh, this is before comedy. Comedy, I didn't get hooked up.
Before comedy.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that was no. You don't
I
hook
scared
up in
him with
comedy.
the voices.
You don't hook up in comedy. If a
I know
girl's
I didn't.
when a girl's looking to hook up at a comedy club, that's straight red flag danger. She didn't go look for a band guy.
Yes, it was.
That's all she wanted. I want you to make me laugh and make me feel good and deal
At
with
the
all
same
my
time.
crazy. Uh-huh.
I want you to give me an orgasm while I'm laughing.
Yeah, there were very few hookups.
You got daddy issues, don't
And
you?
once I started traveling, I was already practically married, so that whole hookup thing was kind of a waste of time for me anyway.
Yeah.
I was already chained, and when I'm that guy that's when he's got a relationship going and a girl hits on him, the first thing that pops into his mind is every horrific thing that could possibly come out of this. I don't think about, oh, sweet, new women. I don't think that. I just think this is how I die. This is how somehow this is gonna mean my death.
She finds out what hotel room I'm in.
Yeah.
She comes to visit. I got another girl in there, and I'm dead.
No matter how hard I try, I'm just a loyal dog to my
smart
death.
Man.
Yeah, smart. Yeah.
See, that's a smart man. Thinking with the right head.
Guys. There's a lot of lonely single guys that would call that stupid, but you never know. It's all about perspective.
Again, the singers get the hookups, the comedians no.
Yeah, the drummer just ODs.
You could tell. I've got a picture of a drummer that I know in my head right now.
Who just died.
Joey Huffman is watching this show. He knows it. Mike is in my head right now. There was a band I used to hang out with.
I still hang out with a lot of bands.
And Joey Huffman, who's been on the show, he's been in a lot of great bands as a keyboard player. He started out with that band. Yeah, Hijinks was the name of the band. And Michael was this really good-looking, really sculpted, handsome, blonde, long-hair drummer. And yeah, you just go, he's going to die of an overdose. He's
going to have an overdose. Why? Because nobody wants to fuck him. That's why. Because he's too far back. No one sees him. You got to put the drummer in the front, and then things will work out.
Oh man!
That's
anybody that you miss? You want to give a shout out to? Living or dead? That's kind of creepy, isn't it? Sorry, I probably should have said that.
Guys, I got together with a bunch of guys lately that we all started talking again after James Gregory passed away. Because he was a dear friend of mine, and we did many shows together.
Never had the pleasure. I've heard so much about him. And how nice he was off stage.
He was the best. He was funny. He was hilarious on stage. He was one of those dudes you could watch every night and still just not get sick of it. You're like, all right, I'm going to watch again tomorrow. And then he was even funnier than that at the Waffle House later, where we're all drinking coffee at 2 a.m, eating terrible food. And he would just, we'd get one story in per hour maybe, and the rest was just him and us just cracking up and just laughing it up. He was the sweetest guy. It's because he was a real clean comic. And before I went on stage, he would say one of two things. He would say, Frankie, and I turn around and go, what? He goes, don't talk about your dick. Okay, James. I walk on stage. Or he would say, Frankie, what's up, James? I know I told you to do 20, but I'm tired, so do 22. And that was one. I'd get one of those every time before I walked on stage. Do 22. I'm tired.
Yeah, okay, he just passed away. What, about a month ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw a picture in your Facebook feed when I was looking for stuff to talk to you about with Tom Rhodes.
Oh yeah, old friend.
You and Tom go way back. Trying to get him on the show. Lou Angel Wolf.
Oh yeah. You had
Lou's
Lou
been
on?
the show. What's
Has
that?
Lou been on? You have a
He's
Lou?
been on the show. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to get him
Lou's
back on.
great.
He only had a half a show actually. Back
He's
in
so
the
funny.
beginning, I was putting 2 guests on just to be safe. So he deserves an hour. He really does.
He does. My
So
wife would have
I
left
need to
me for
call him
Tom
back up
Rhodes.
and get him back on the show. I'm trying to get Ward Smith on the show too because he's got.
Oh, he's excellent. Ward's super
He's got.
cool.
He just came back from Europe. He's did another trip to Europe, and he's managing a theater
Really?
in Tampa, I think.
Really?
So I want to talk to him about that. Yeah.
Dang, that's cool. They gonna do comedy or everything?
I think he's just doing like play productions,
That's really
like
cool.
community theater. Yeah.
That is excellent. I love that.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
So I have a very fond memory of doing the Kathy Fountain show with him, and his dad come on and said, you guys, I can't do what you guys do.
Yeah.
He just gushed about, how we as comics get up in front of people and make people laugh, and that's not an easy thing to do. And I was like, your dad is so cool.
My daughter used to do that all the time. When she would have boyfriends, they'd find out who I was, and they'd be like, "Can I meet your dad?" She'd be like, "No." Why? No, because if he likes you, we're breaking up.
That's funny.
So I would hate them all.
When you're not doing comedy, what are you really into now?
Man, I do. If you were to walk around my yard, you would just be captivated because
Is it a beautiful garden?
I garden, and I got I have a pool out back, and I don't put it without a screen because I like that natural feel. And around that, I've got flowers, plants, trees. I got an oasis in my backyard and that's what it's good stress reliever. It curbs your urge to kill when you dig a hole. You're like,
we get that urge a lot.
I hope the world burns. Where's my shovel? It's not that bad.
You go to my oasis.
Yep, I do that. I still go to concerts constantly. We're always at concerts. We go all the time.
Yeah.
We got groups, and we go out. We do a thing called Shiprocked, a hard rock concert on a cruise ship for 7 days. And you get to meet all the bands because they can't go nowhere.
Renee, can you read that last comment that they said?
Diamond said, insight on how men think. This is from a few minutes ago when you guys were talking about male things and.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, when he was thinking with his head. Yes. Smart man.
Smart man. Don't do it may be tasty now, but it's gonna make you sick later.
So you're going to continue with the art? You're going to try to do some more painting?
I'm going to try to get into the painting a little more. Like you said, I dabbled. So, I got a irking to go learn guitar. So I went and learned how to play guitar.
Oh, wow.
Just out of nowhere. I feel like playing guitar.
Okay, from somebody who's always wanted to learn how to play guitar, because my father used to captivate the family with his play. He played by ear, and he used to captivate the family with his guitar playing. And my brother can play guitar. My sisters, most of them can play guitar. I have a guitar, but I haven't learned. I mean, how easy is it to pick up on the guitar?
Well, to learn, you can make it as easy as complicated as you want. You could learn 4 chords and play 90% of every rock song ever written. You just got to do it with your. Just got to change the timing on it, and it's a different. Like Tom Petty just wrote 1 million songs with a D chord. But it's not that hard.
The chord is the limit.
Yeah. And America too. So, but I did that. I learned how to play harmonica, or I'm learning. It's really teaching me now. Because my guitar teacher ended up moving, and he was the kind of guy, and he taught piano to children mostly, and he agreed to teach me guitar because he loved guitar. So he said, I like you. Come in. I'll give me $20 every time you come in, and I'll teach you for an hour, just me and
You're
you
a
on
comic.
guitar.
Make me laugh. I'll teach you guitar.
Yeah, and I did. I made him laugh while we would learn, and he would go. And after I learned, he would go, "Okay, now just bring in songs you want to learn." And I'd bring in a song. We'd learn it that day.
Oh man.
And then, but then I kind of put it up for a while. But now that I got grandkids, I got 3 granddaughters, and one's 3, the others are going on 2, and they scream all the time, always pissed. So music shuts that down.
Soothes the savage beast.
It does. During Christmas, 2 of the babies were just freaking out, and we had this plastic Santa Claus that played the saxophone, and I pushed the button. And when I pushed the button and it started playing, those kids just they just stopped. All the crying stopped, walked up to it, mesmerized by it. And so
headlights.
So then when we're out and about and they started freaking out, I would start making noise with the harmonica, and I couldn't play it, but it soothed them and they quit crying. So just doing that has taught me how to play the instrument, because I'm doing it like 30 times a day when we babysit. And it's like, so I've learned how to play some blues just by trying to get the kids to calm down.
Funny.
It's so great.
So I was going to ask you that next. What's it like being a granddaddy?
I love it. It's the best thing ever. It's the reward you get for being a parent. Because you play with them, and your child is an adult now, sitting 5 feet from you, and you get to have fun. And when the kid takes off, you don't get up. You just lean back and go, "She's got a head start. Go get her." and they're running off, flip flops, kicking off of the feet, trying to catch the kid. That part's great.
They go home.
Yeah. It's a blast. I love it. I love teaching them stuff. Yeah, I'm a good grandpa because I'm like
remember Frankie Paul teaching the grandkids.
Yeah, that's all you need. So this is how you roll a joint for mom. No, I'm a good granddaddy. I love it. I eat it up. It's one of my favorite things.
So what's next?
Next for me, I'm getting ready to retire to the state. I'm off the road, done. I've been everywhere. I'm getting so many.
Are you talking about retiring from comedy?
No, just to the state of Florida.
Oh, okay, you got a day job.
I'm gonna kind of, but it's still just comedy. Because my wife retired 3 years ago, so she's retired already.
Yeah.
And so after last year, I decided, all right, I'm just going to go and do shows in Florida unless someone wants to dump a truckload of money in the driveway. And then I'll leave.
Truckload of money's good.
And I got to tell you, between all the, the private shows I'm getting, and there's more than 355 plus communities just in our state. Yeah. You could work one. You could work one a year and only have 2 months off. Every other day you're working.
Wow.
And they range from trailer parks. You may go into one, it's just a camping place. You may go in another, and it's 1,500 beautiful homes. They
provide the sound system and the stage, or?
I bought one because they do, and then you get there and they don't.
Oh yeah.
Like one time I just did a show. I get there. First of all,
I got a microphone, one of those $50.
I get there, and first of all, now I got to do it poolside. I'm poolside. Yeah, you're poolside. Oh, this is gonna be fun. And so I go, you got a mic and a stand, and I go, and it's the radio mic. The mic stand is the little tiny guy that's only 6 inches. I'm gonna walk around with that. Yeah, that's my mic stand. So after that show, I went ahead and bought my own tower system. I got my own stuff. And even if they go, yep, we got everything, I'll bring it. Because they didn't tell me they didn't have one this past Saturday. The booking agent didn't put it in the contract like he normally does. Normally he tells me to bring sound, but he didn't. But I'm like, this is notorious. It happens all the time.
I've got to get off my ass and find somebody to book me. I've done Elvis shows, Sinatra shows, and Roy Orbison's my best one.
I'll hook you
old
up
folks
with this,
communities
dude.
and stuff. I bet that would go over really big.
Oh yeah, and
I can do an hour set for each one.
there's a couple of people. There's Darling Productions. They do an audition every year on the west coast of Florida. They do it in Tampa, and you'll go there, and there's going to be 30 acts, and two of them will be comedians, you and another. The rest of them are going to be people that do oldie stuff and la 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 la. You know, there's all these bands and musicians and singers, no comics.
The Schmingy brothers.
Yeah, and the comics that go up are just horrifying. So you could cut loose, because I don't go up there and do old stuff that I want an old person to hear. I'll go up and do my stuff, and it's newer stuff, and they kind of appreciate. I got some stuff about getting old, but it's not the same old thing, and they appreciate.
It's not Indie Huggins Act,
right? You know, and that's been done. It was great then, and they did it, but I can't ride that coattail. I got to come up with something else.
Yeah,
but they do an audition. There's a dude named Jacob Hunt. He does 3 auditions every year. He does them 3 days in a row. All of them are west of 75, usually in like places like Spring Hill. And that's all he does is 55 and overs. And you know, if I can get 10 of those,
there's a lot of that down here.
It's a lot of that. If you're going to retire here and perform, that's your niche. That's where you got to be. I'm telling you.
And again, I can't go more than 3 hours from home. You know, I got a day job too. You know, and I got a
right. And that's my best part is I get to go do a show and I get to come home and get in my bed. I don't care if I stay in another hotel as long as I live. I'm done. I will, but I won't want to.
All right. Well, it's so good to see you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me on. If anything, just so we could catch up.
Again, I've been wanting to get you on for a long time, and I'm so glad that we got together tonight. This time,
I shouldn't
say tonight because most people watch this in post at other times of the day.
I'm just glad Renee likes me.
Renee likes you. I could tell. Renee, you like him, right?
No comment.
No comment. I plead the fifth.
That's what I get.
I'm just kidding. I didn't hear the question. Tell me. I
just said I'm glad Renee liked me.
Oh my gosh, I love you. I'm obsessed with you. I'm gonna be stalking you. It'll be a crazy experience for you. Get ready. I'm like the paparazzi.
Cool. Me and the wife and I could use the adventure.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'll put you on a nice adventure. It'll keep us on your toes, you know. All right. Good idea.
On that happy note, folks.
And on that non-psychotic, it's just a little psychotic, not too psychotic. No. Have a good night, everybody.
You too.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you, Frankie.
My
Paul,
pleasure. Thank you, buddy. It was wonderful talking. It was wonderful being with you.